main role here?
Extremely excited and almost relieved that we're back to that time to where we can start focusing on these guys, because these guys have waited their turn. Obviously, a lot of these guys did play and contribute to the team last year, but it's a new team, it's a new opportunity, and as Coach says all the time, last year's touchdowns and last year's plays aren't going to win today's games, and so these guys know what it takes, they've seen what it looks like, and now they're eager to go create their own legacy.
Okay. All right, Coach. I know you've probably been asked this already, but the quarterback situation, what is it heading into camp?
Well, coming in is just like it was coming out of spring. Obviously, Kelly, if we play today, Kelly is a starter, but there's still a lot of competition, and we got between 28 and 30 practices before we kick off, and I anticipate that Hunter Johnson and Jared Cooper are going to make it very, very difficult on him, but I think Kelly's up to the challenge. So I'm excited to see how their bodies have matured over the summer, because, again, we put a lot of emphasis on transforming the body in the summer, to see how much they've done in the offseason on their own in terms of preparation, because we're going to jump right into installation. We're not going to slow it down for anybody, and so I'm excited to see all these guys compete. So right now, obviously, Kelly has the confidence of everybody on the staff, but we know it's going to be a great competition going into camp.
What's the rubric for you guys when you're evaluating these quarterbacks?
Just the ability to manage the game, being consistent in all situations, being able to command all the players on offense, so you know what everybody's doing. Under pressure, that you can remain calm, make all the throws, and really just being consistent, managing the game, and then making the throws that you need to make in the passing game.
What are the biggest unknowns for you guys heading into this season? I know there's probably a couple with some of the faces gone, but for you as a coach?
The biggest thing for us as a coach is the leadership. Obviously, we know we lost a lot of production in the seniors that left, but we know that we got capable guys to replicate that production. The thing for us is just, are we going to have the same chemistry and the same leadership, and that's what we're looking for. You knew what you had. Obviously, everybody knows how great a player Deshaun and Wayne and Leggett and all those guys were, but it's just the leadership that they brought day in and day out. And so for us, the unknown is, where is that leadership going to come from? We have some guys that we've identified that we believe are going to step up, but at the same time, all of us who've played the game, we know that it's the individual players that have to step up. And so we can want guys to do it, but they got to want it for themselves. So that's really the unknown for us. We'll figure out ways offensively to generate the production, but we got to have that leadership, because, again, it's not just production, it's the chemistry to be able to produce in all situations.
How excited are you about the running backs and who could potentially step up and fill that void?
Very excited, because I got three guys, two in particular, that have been waiting for a long time, and then I got a young pup that's very, very talented, that kind of went through a humbling experience, which was good for him. He didn't like it, but it was good for him, because now he's at a point where he understands what needs to be the basis of his confidence, and the basis of his confidence needs to be preparation. And the other two have watched Wayne do it for 3 years, so they know what it takes, and now it's their turn. So I'm very, very excited to see how this competition is going to shake out.
How do you think pass blocking is going to be integral in this competition?
Integral, it's probably going to be the most important thing, because obviously all those guys can run the football. They're very, very talented, and a lot of what they do is natural. And as a coach, coach of running backs, that your job is to get them from 7 yards deep to the line of scrimmage, and then after that, you let them go play football. But that's only one piece of the game, and actually a small piece of the game. The most important piece is being able to protect the quarterback. And I think what you've seen over the last 2 years, what made Wayne so valuable is his ability to not just pick up the protectors, but know who to pick up, and then also to be able to be in tune to the game and on the same page with Deshaun, that there's nonverbal communication, that he can see things and anticipate and correct and make things right from a protection standpoint. So that's going to be critical. If you can't protect the quarterback, you're not going to get an opportunity to run the ball.
Do you think that one guy in particular may have an advantage, or do you think it's pretty even at this point?
I think you would say that Fuller and Choice have the advantage just because they've been in the system longer. But I would say from a size standpoint, Feaster is the biggest one. He's up to about 220 pounds right now. He's really, really, dived into the weight room. He's confident in where his strength is. I think one of the things last year that held him back is he was coming off a shoulder injury, and he wasn't confident in his strength. He didn't have confidence in his strength. Now he's at a point with 220 pounds. So I think it's going to be critical. So no one has a distinct advantage, but again, the two older guys have a little more experience than Taylor.
Talk about some of the freshman wide receivers you got coming. You got Higgins and Amari Rogers coming out of Tennessee on campus now. What do you think those guys fit into the picture this year, or do they?
Oh, well, with what we do on offense and the tempo that we play and the amount of plays that we play throughout the course of the game, you got to have a tremendous amount of depth. And obviously we got some of the top tier guys that have played a lot, and Hunter and Ray and Dion, and now we got to figure out who's that next group. And so those guys are coming in and different from a lot of guys, and they're ready to compete now. Obviously T. Higgins is a freak of nature. And, he hasn't really scratched his potential because he hasn't done much in the weight room. And then as he goes through his career, you're going to see some unbelievable things out of him. But Amari Rodgers is the one that I'm interested to see because he's already physically mature. He comes from a football background. He loves to compete, and you always see him doing extra throughout the course of the day, whether it's in the evenings or early on.
Two other wide receivers, Overton and Powell, both seem to have also physically matured over the offseason.
Yes.
Powell came in looking like that in high school, but DeAndre Overton really put on some big weight from what I've seen. And what do you expect out of those two guys this year?
Well, right now, DeAndre is right behind Dion. And if you watch how we've operated over the last 2 years, the person that plays that second 9-man spot is just like a starter. Dion made a ton of big plays for us. Everybody talks about Mike, but Dion makes probably the biggest play of the national championship when he sparked us on the tunnel screen, and then he made some back shoulder throws. So that position right there is as critical as any position we have, is who is going to be that second 9-man, because one receiver cannot play 80 plays and be efficient and be dominant. And so he's going to have some competition, obviously, with T, pushing, because he's coming in with the expectation of playing as a freshman. And so he needed an offseason. We really, really challenged him, and Coach Sweeney was on him hard throughout the course of spring because we know that he has it. He has the potential. But, again, he needed the confidence in the weight room to be able to go out and play, to his physical ability.
Coach, how motivating is it for you to try to put on an offense to kind of duplicate what you guys did last year, given you guys had so much talent from last year?
I don't know if there's pressure to duplicate what we did. I guess the pressure and the fun for me is figuring out what's the identity of this offense, and it's actually changed each time that Jeff and I have taken over. Obviously, it was different with Cole Stout than it was in the 15 season. The 15 offense was different from the 16 offense. So I don't know if it's necessarily replicate. We understand what our role is within the team. We know that we're expected to be aggressive and to put up points and to put pressure on the opposing team. But at the same time, we got to be sound. And so the fun for me is figuring out what's the identity of this unit. And again, we got a ton of great ingredients. Now we just have to go stress them throughout the course of fall camp, and then once we get towards the end, refine them, and then go let them play. Somebody asked